If I try, I want to sound so papa, and I want to sound so bonnet, especially.
I know to remember how many.
Yeah, quite.
And I know to an opay me the Chiabe Mao anyway T4 any Asha for also. Michiala Tefonina a Cropon constituency Fonina any Equapim North municipality. Just say you will run away member of parliament. Next week my Brena Yankane who answer. Nana Madukuya.
Dukuya.
Once says your contest or Greater Accra or Kaiko enough. And because of that, no, any benefit due us since last 2 years no fan back. So say your man common fund.
Yeah.
Your man percentage of get fund. Health insurance, you know, some fan back.
Say someone demand.
Say what will you do? And they are seeking to vote for another person. For MP. You see the problem.
I say micro, say micro.
They found a special arrangement.
It will be say next week, you know. My umbrella. Me educate you.
No problem. Now, Ebenezer, I think right am I you? Or say that no to please tell courage until Ronaldo fans go shame out.
Hello to Dago. Me have been so 8 years here. Your friend of Setamukui.
Okay.
Or you serious scientist.
Oh, okay.
He works with US pharmacopoeia, me chane pa, or no, me train about corridors.
More fire.
I know to that. Today,
FM 100.5.
Yebeshim near Kumunso.
Okay.
The court, in other words, is called the judiciary. I know to that.
Shut them out. There 20 minutes.
I know to that. When we're talking about governance, you were three arms of government. You were the executive, legislature, and the judiciary. Into your car, you see the executive is the arm of government responsible for formulation of policies and implementation. There's almost inuma any decisions na yeden eba you be sure so you be bu or mine. And you were the legislature. I say it is the arm of government responsible for making laws. Into the from umbrase bigwafo. Omo de omo ya ne say omo hye embra. By your bakubia your friend the judiciary. The judiciary is the arm of government responsible for settling of disputes and interpretation of the law. It's judiciary the omo ya ne say obi ni obi ntemu e wontawa omo hwe na omo di asem no ana say echinje bi eba ewo constitution ho a no mama ye meaning to what the constitution means and the judiciary no. So the judiciary is responsible for interpretation of the law and settling of what disputes. But Ghana Hanumuna, I know to that one thing a man for him say at any given time, you know, constitution or ma nipa yet Ghana Hanumuna or my power power by him. Hey, my found Article 125. Article 125 say justice emanates from the people. It's the same dinner ye dine crown puno. If you hear what you want to echo, they say justice emanates from the people, and it shall be administered on behalf of the people by the judiciary. It's a 10 year you want to hear in the fee. And they say ye movie. Say a formal group be a friend of the judiciary. It's a one day, better assembly. So who di assemble crown pa who di in favor of the people. The Akuffo amount for the tea a bedding, a better more soon, and then the better wasum. That's how we say justice emanates from the people, and it shall be administered on behalf of the people by the judiciary. That's Article 125. It is a only a 10 year be a bar. They say, "What I said, does it sync with the people?" It's a we say public, the court of public what opinion. Whatever you are bringing, does it sync with the people? Is it part of the norms of the people? Is it part of the culture of the people? It is a ubu atenya. To mention the functions of the judiciary. One of the cardinal functions of the judiciary is to settle disputes. A man for Timor, Omono Moshe, no way diasemono. They interpret the law and they makadada. Another one is to say they protect the rights and liberties of the people. Intimeno say you say ubi 88 ya fa hu di so a bibia ye be kono ene fa judiciary, that is the court. Again, the judiciary no a court no so no, they advise the government. And at the try to crown no, they also make laws through what we call judicial review. It's not to you the power ma court no say president ye boni and now parliament ye boni and now obi a ukra position bi ye boni a court no one who to me say obeka say president why boni parliament why boni onipa osemesi wo yes CEO ema company why boni any for judicial review no it is a mechanical from I say judicial review is a constitutional provision that gives power to the judiciary to declare actions of the executive null and void or travarious and therefore unconstitutional. So the judiciary have that power. It is obekaya time na Akuffo Addo eyi dom level no. Amanfo bi e Ghana no under article 2. Article 2 they say if there is an action or omission or anything done by somebody of which you think say it is in conflict with the constitution, go to the Supreme Court. Nti nipa mi ense bi e de Akuffo Addo actions no Echo Supreme Court say oni who kwan say obeyi dom level. And not to that one. The microphone de kwa no court no so due to mu say Akuffo Addo eni hu to me. But it was 3 years after so mo de call ye. Nti e buy no kra no dom level microphone no ewini but because of the agency ont me here then ont me call back. That's why sometimes the BBC na man for tie mu say mo fa court then I'll tell them say it could be said that particular moment, no, the court will not be the best avenue. Because all the court, imagine say, maybe 59 years, I can't 1 year, now may call retirement, yes, I should proceed on leave. Now me say me proceed on leave, there me person beji my home. Now, yeah, the assembly court did 3 years, but now maybe 62 years. Although that she goes in favor of me, I cannot go and occupy that position again. Because per the constitution, I am 60 years and above, and then I cannot be a public servant or a civil servant.
No, will you be compensated?
So you'll be compensated for the actions taken against you. But maybe now, you may be Boagana buying. And so now, wait to me here, wait to me here. Okay. And not to that, here they are now working. They be a copano, a honor my basis here. They be say judicial independence. Judicial independence, let's say. Say atenie for no etnasia omo ye ajaje for no atemua for no so mo tenasia bibia ni ho say e influence omo bibia ni ho say e influence omo whether we ye ni papa wo ye ni mami o wo na wo appointing no wo ye ni kunu wo ye ni yuri o enye say wutumi influence obi oye atemua for any for the judicial independence nti ye can be from say judicial independence is a principle whereby the judiciary is free from any form of external control.
Okay.
So what's the one I would do asema and say obibia it's because I say there would be decision now would be I say ko E and I say then e ko B. It is a ocean constitution now. Yeah, the process is be a go. I say you follow and you follow so there will be judicial word independence. One and they say president in the one kwai so be appointed a judge for atemua for but president any who kwai say after say wa appointed one obey den obey you oni who kwai and the first one it is a president appointed carriage and say carriage a judge and atemua for president any who kwai bia da so betimi unless say the person have grossly misbehaved so wakoye bibi cry that is the first one.
If the person has grossly misbehaved,
president any who to me it's a citizen.
Yes.
And obe petition president.
Okay.
Then no crap president who are obe forward e dia command chief justice. Na chief justice e di mujuma.
And look, I'm trying to go to the judicial council first.
No, it will go to the chief justice. Chief justice will establish a prima facie case against the person. And now say the person have serious ailment, deformity, which will prevent him from performing or exercising his duty or performance.
Okay.
And the first one. 2, to promote judicial independence, yes, salaries and allowances of judges should be drawn from the consolidated fund. It's a judge for atemua for ye come asem because the person omo independent you know almost salaries no ye yifi consolidated fund. Na omo ye mbra no omo team po ne say consolidated fund no parliament na ye den e hweso. E na okọ parliament a unya party bakope e wo parliament ubenya party bebre e wo parliament because of that don't be to say one man decision and come aside I mean to yawo dey woka it's all to ensure judicial independence no judges salary should be drawn from what the consolidated fund. The next one to ensure judicial independence then they say judges should retire on their salary and allowances. It is our judge ni ana temuafo eti akongwa so na se oje 30,000 Ghana cedis a embrane say so call retirement cra on sanji 30,000 unse normal people no so call retirement our salary na so ye den eti but mo no yem pese obeka se okọ retirement and ho bechi no nti obeje bribe no ye say wo de okọ retirement cra wo salary na wo je no ye de be ye den ye de be ma wo eno mo salaries no ye wa allowances a ye de mo ye mo domestic allowance ye mo entertainment allowance ye mo security allowance nyama bebre cloth allowance so wunya we nyina you be comfortable say you be to mean direct wo activities say ye we na me ma usika ye we na me ma usika no to the who aba asem sesia no eye appointment say wo hwe mbremu a ye wo principle bi e fe no separation of powers no e kire say 3 arms of government now be born within the executive, the legislature, and the judiciary no should be separated in terms of function and in personnel. I say obia etene ho. It's say enya members of parliament in kwa no mu ye omedwuma. I say enya judicial reform kwa no mu ye omedwuma. And I say enya executive kwa no mu ye omedwuma. But I know to the me catch on say the judiciary is headed by the chief justice. Parliament the odiso a speaker of parliament. And the executive the audition also the president nti obia won adwuma oye den oye but another principle also one my friend no checks and balances and what say sa arms of government mi nsa ya mabobo omudin no obia en check ne yonko nti so obe hwa salaries of president is determined by the legislature, salaries of the legislature is determined by the president, salaries of the judiciary is determined by parliament. It's when you obiya ye the air checking home. It's one of the checks. A word judiciary necessarily say the president is the one who appoints judges to the courts. But I know to Esa can start make sure we are say there are two types of courts in Ghana. We have the superior courts and the lower courts. Superior courts include one, the Supreme Court, followed by the Court of Appeal and the High Court. But also constitution in Mukrampa or the regional tribunals say the Ekahu, but Sisiano they are spent. Regional tribunals any will be. In the lower court now, there was circuit court, district court, and juvenile court. These are the courts. In the Chief Justice power say obetimi set up any other lower court abeka circuit court, district court, any juvenile court in the home. Now not to that, the power to appoint to the superior court, that is Supreme Court, Court of Appeal, High Court, is in the hands of the president. But there are guidelines. President
100.5.
Although Yama no power no, you see the president no, in consultation with the Judicial Council, and to me appointed judges to the Supreme Court, the Court of Appeal, and the High Courts. Now the AC last week, can once me. If we are to believe whatever is in the media, you say Chief Justice actual letter comma president say certain people should be appointed to the Supreme Court. I know to that the Chief Justice do not have that power with the little knowledge that I know and I have in law. There were Judicial Council. The Judicial Council is headed by the Chief Justice. The Judicial Council no man for a fresh from Judicial Council so it's your government appointees. You are man for Attorney General appointee Chief Justice account. You are people who represent the judges at the Superior Court on the Judicial Committee. And there were people who also represent judges of the lower court on the Judicial Committee. In the Judicial Committee, you know. But before a president be appointed Obino to the Supreme Court, he's supposed to appoint it in consultation with the Judicial Council. Let's just say, Judicial Council near the Ejitum. Per what we are hearing in the media, you say Chief Justice a meeting with the Judicial Council, the Judicial Council refused the appointment to the Supreme Court. It's bebree say after say it has been refused no the Chief Justice went on by issuing a letter to the president say or no recommended 5 people to the president to be appointed. I know to
which say we need legal capacity. No?
Only a judicial council in a yes idea no, not the Chief Justice.
But what
although
if she's
the chief
on behalf of the judiciary?
No to Dako. Mate your sister radio station back say they try contacting the Ghana Bar Association. The Ghana Bar Association also have a representative of the Judicial Council. Yesterday, the Ghana Bar Association, through their leadership, have written a letter to the president refusing this appointment.
I'll be happy if you be definite. Then yes, say. I mean,
yes, the media house try calling.
So if it's media, say media.
Me say the media house, one of your sister stations.
Okay.
One of the executives in the Ghana Bar Association.
I agree. Just that we don't encourage hearsays.
Yes, but for now, so far as they don't want to come out, the leadership doesn't want to come out. We will rely on what the people say.
Exactly.
Almost if you can, they were trying to establish contact with the leadership of the Ghana Bar Association. None of them picked the call, but confidently, and confidentially, Baku Ekasho say whatever the NDC General Secretary Ekanye say, the Ghana Bar Association have written a letter to the president refusing the appointment. It's true, but just said the person was not able to come on tape. So they say Ghana one of the major problems we have with this government is vindictiveness. And I make say crap on me say before no copy on me. So what they make and I say, but me Ghana and the dama come so I am fighting for Ghana. Na se Ghana ko ni mu a me come nim. Se me ntimi anya hwe krampo na me advocacy nti Ghana ko ni nim na da che member eba no mu bedi a I will prefer that than say I will keep quiet na da che member be den ebe suffer. So me as a member of the Ghana Bar Association, I am here not talking for the Ghana Bar Association but talking for myself. Say and not to that say wo can o say we already have about 15 members at the Supreme Court.
And I'm even learning say about 13 or so were appointed by Akuffo Addo. I don't know about that.
Say Bebre
14.
Bebre echo retirement. It's Akuffo Addo by there. He's one of the fortunate presidents to appoint.
Okay, King Farouk Radiaba. But see, currently we have 15 justices at the Supreme Court of the land.
Yes.
14 of them were appointed by President Akuffo Addo. And your guess is as good as mine.
It cannot be true.
It cannot be true. Okay.
Yes. And yet, almost 14 in the Akuffo Addo appointed. Akuffo Addo appointed be almost like retirement.
Oh, okay.
It will be to say Nene Amegate. Akuffo Addo they appointed, but now. Oko.
Until they are totally in an effort.
That's right. That's what the point I want to make.
That's right.
And I got a fine gentleman. He taught me advocacy at the law school.
Oh, okay.
These are some of the brains. Here you want one brain cramp or honoma. Sakamedia and call your judge here. Your Nico Supreme Court. I will be very glad. The fellow Justice Dominic Dennis Ejay.
Okay.
Or your Court of Appeal judge, your international duty, or your guru in interpretation.
Wow.
Let my vote count decision, or not the buyer.
Okay.
He's a trainer of judges.
Okay. Or not training judges.
Well, baby, Yakubu ina yede ye Akuffo Addo so basi asore dan no. Cathedral no. When would Judicial Training Institute na na wo
okay.
No ye proprietor dean now he's on international duties. Very nice brain.
That's what he's saying.
Your friend Dominic Dennis J.A. Justice of the Appeal Court. At the time not chair me interpretation law school. Time not chairman there no a Justice of the Appeal Court.
About science ever comes to that.
Very intelligent man. Only my dear rough. Me obi to say Maxwell. Obi to say Maxwell. Law school. Opoku Ajiman. Opoku Ajiman. Very learned.
Opoku Ajiman crack any day, no problem.
In as much as or no, or advocates, Emma MPP, even Baumia campaign team, no, legal manifesto, legal department head no crampo me. I still see him to be one of the best brains.
Yeah.
If you are talking about law,
so if we open campaign for people there, then we should not. We should not encourage
on your open, but on legal
because say judges
manifesto no
judges we there will be on the party. Lawyers will be even history to aba.
Yes.
There shouldn't be any problem.
Oh, Maxwell, very law of evidence. Current meaning show beer or appreciating law of evidence and saying Maxwell. Okay. Very nice man, a very fine brain. But my problem then they say, who said the law no can say at any given time, when the Supreme Court is sitting, they shouldn't sit with members less than 5.
Okay.
So High Court, only one person can sit in a normal case. Say a reasonable cases are 3 people. So Court of Appeal and brother say not less than 3 people can sit at a time. So at any given time, judges or Motina say or Court of Appeal no 3. And I'm brother also say not less than 5 people can sit at a time. It was Supreme Court. As 5.
But can all the 15 sit?
No. Even with the election petition, cry 9. A court reviewer now the 2. Now 11. Okay. All the 15 cannot sit at a time, but at any given time, it should be 5 and above, and then it should be odd number. Now me tie Jakpa Mukes and I don't know whether this was, excuse me to say, I am saying this from my knowledge and what I saw. One will say in the case, Chief Justice can say, Omobre, not even that particular day in the crown 3 different Supreme Courts is having sittings. At that given time, they actually move 5. More than almost nothing. 5, old Supreme Court in a 5 different place, in a 5 different place. So meaning all the 50 were sitting at the same time because of the workload I then also. It's not Akuffo advocate say then there should be. That's why she's proposing for more judges at the Supreme Court. But I don't think that is the right thing. The Supreme Court, as we have, should not have a lot of people. You see, we are supposed to have the best of legal brains at the Supreme Court. And say, the fewer, the merrier.
But I don't know who determines that. Because, now, you're politically porous. Now, it's the prerogative of president. Say, Oba appoint to be a Supreme Court. So a judge no born when I done for. I mean, and also by appointing. Why other than yen leave amend the constitution? Now yen leave the appointment of such important judges to some council. They are legal beings.
We are practicing a principle or a system of government known as the presidential system of government. The presidential system of government is a system of government whereby the executive powers of the state is vested into one person. That person is the head of state, performing ceremonial function, the head of government performing administrative function, and the commander-in-chief of the armed forces. Under this system, it is the president who have the power to appoint judges.
Lawyer, that is my worry.
It's because of the system of government that we are practicing. Yes.
The point I'm making is this. Let's redefine. Yes, I'm sorry. The fact that some presidential systems, I don't care about. So let's name our own. And our own, we will say, even though we are practicing presidential system, the president will not. The fact that Bruni is a presidential system does not mean we should follow. I mean,
Makacha will say, justice emanates from the people.
So we are the people. We should redefine our judiciary.
So it's up to us to advocate. So what I say, it is up to us to what? To advocate. Yes. It's up to us to put pressure on the government. It's up to us to call for constitutional amendments. Say at least there should be an amendment to the constitution. Okay. To put a cap.
For time that's about 5 minutes in count.
Yeah, there should be an amendment of the constitution to put a cap. Okay. To say the president have the power to appoint justices to the Supreme Court. Okay. Who shouldn't be not less than 5 people who will sit at a time. But at least it shouldn't be more than 15. Okay. See, there have never been any instance. Oma brought a team cry.
Okay, so now come to the substantive
So the substantive issue, no, I have I have a problem.
So come the 5 minutes.
The problem now, me want to say, I know to that here. In law or in our mere English, we have something we call enticement.
Okay.
What am I saying? Let's look at this. If we are Sewa Bochi, J.A., Justice of the Appeal Court, say, or not say Jakpa case, okay. The Jakpa case is politically case. It's a political case. Is that not so? It is a obiti case, we should say, involving the minority leader. Na akakakra yedi aseminary na yedi abato public say or no, she has been proposed to go and serve on the Supreme Court. See, this is not my position, but in law we are taught something, the reasonable man test. You see, Bibiano, you hear the reasonable man test, the probabilities. Into the reasonable man in law, no, you see, will be a waffle bus if he legon. Ah, or quite a station, one of the reasonable man. It is a way to talk reasonable man, and you say, Obi eti asemoso. Asemono, if a president opponent home. And now, the oti asemono no. You say, president say, Uncle Supreme Court. Say reasonable man, eti way, I don't know to that you were a reasonable man. Uti we are not about you.
The common sense approach, I agree.
No, me opposition. What will be your position? Say, go, what you came, we are reasonable man. You are from Legon to Accra Central. That's how we define a reasonable man. Okay. Be to okay. That's the reasonable man text in law.
Okay.
Now, Yakacha will say, Obi a judge, or Tiasemoso. The Anasemu war judge in any mono, a member of parliament, minority leader.
Okay.
I think one from me Crampo say, President Crampo na share a Attorney General say onfa onipa ko ne yede enko court according to Jakpa. Now onipa na oti asem no so no. President ye say president say ye appointing in Supreme Court.
Promotion.
They are promoting no. Ota so AD asem no. Then the be with him. As a reasonable man.
As a reasonable man, yes, maybe hands have exchanged somewhere.
Mr. Carriage, then the with him.
They are trying to entice her.
So it is a decision. It's a decision never crampo. Not decision. No, it's not a decision that have been influenced. Which I know said the decision will not be influenced. Per the training the judges go through. What would the reasonable man say? The reasonable man will have a problem with this.
It's true.
So they are making us, and that is why I have a problem. So even if it can be appointed, if we are about to crampo at Supreme Court, there's wrong timing.
It's not how much train.
And now Kresaki are appointing that. No, now. Said they are making an patch. What you said here? There is another judge, or ye Bema or Kahu. Or no, Abuka Pele Massam no yeden, or Tnaso. Which Abuka Pele Massam no so a politically what? A sports case. It's a reasonable man. What will he think? Say at the time now you di Abuka Pele Massam no. Was the person working for the government? That's what a reasonable man would think. So let me give you analogy to see if we are on the same path.
What
I want to say, but I'm looking at what a reasonable man.
So I want to give this analogy to see if I'm a reasonable man.
Yes.
So on mine I team.
Yeah.
Na edrumribia year registration say per se ye beto.
Yeah.
Near electoral commission catch the yen ne say a birth certificate kyerɛ sɛ yɛ Ghana for no ɔmo nyusu ama ɛkɔ court nti na yɛ need as one court.
Yes.
Court ko gyina commission akyi sɛ ɛyɛ yɛ birth certificate a first point of identification no.
Yeah.
ɛnkyerɛ sɛ yɛ Ghana for.
Yeah.
Nti yɛ mbongo.
Yeah.
Later yɛsi bibi de national identification card o sɛ hwan ɛnso ana passport.
Yeah.
Sa passport in Sunya actually ultimate sign registration got to the same abano.
Yeah.
But this time court say birth certificate na say enter some Ghana no.
Yeah.
Me passport there. Met me the birth certificate na ko. Na me nya passport no which is a secondary document. Me timi the sa passport na ko apply na basandi atoaba. Enti no as a reasonable man.
Yes, that decision defeats the reasonable man test.
That's a defeating me test.
Yes, it defeats it because
and I see
that passport now. Passport no. The original document, they acquire passport in Ghana here, a birth certificate. So you get your passport on the premise of a birth certificate.
Exactly.
Now say you wait with the passport, Ako register as a voter, but you need to birth certificate.
It doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense.
It will make call square and send them.
It's a bit of say. It's a bit of say. Justice emanates from the people. The way you treat mono. And then I am
for 2 minutes we are
the way you treat mono and I am brano. It's the Ebekano and I am brano. Justice emanates from the people. It shall be administered on behalf of the people by what? By the judiciary. Nipa kume bikeke. In the you say omuko jinemu. No omufa embrano to be a day. I say that. It's not to that from all these principles that I've put on the table, and from all this analysis that I have made, I can clearly come to conclusion saying,
how do you see?
Certain people who have been appointed to say if you say what, Bochi, I love that woman very well. Me what law school I'm here advocacy crampo. Me moot court on our press.
That's so strict.
Very strict. Me moot court. If you want to say if I've been able to go through this woman to become a lawyer, let's say me so my be mukakra.
Yeah.
She was the one who did my moot court for me. Moot court one pass here, you will be at the law school. I'm for her number 13 years. They will not be able to pass moot court. Yes, moot
13
court.
years.
You appear. Wow. Yes, people have been there since 2010. People have been there since 2010.
Moot court in there then.
Moot court no yeah, it's part of advocacy.
Oh, okay.
And no, you appear before a judge. Oh, may a lawyer, you appear before a judge. You might brief. You go and read. Me amount case, no say, but not be defended.
Hey.
You appear before a judge and argue like a lawyer before the judge. And if the law is at the bosom of the judge, that judge they can say you have done well, that's when you be passed to become a lawyer. She's the one who did my moot for me. I respect her very, very well. She's the same person. You need a problem, no. Unipa can crunchy. Any problem, no. And also it was about the moot court.
Oh, okay.
So
it will this, you know.
It will be this, you know. The patch I say. We the Akuffo Addo chew. Why you be brave? I'm a can once him. Okay. We do unfan saying. Yeah, Akuffo Addo appointed Tescom patron. Ebe easy
boss Manasare. Not when
Kayesa Wanja.
A friend of boss Manasare.
Boss Manasare.
Name is shame.
Akuffo Addo. Appointed regional director of IT. Emma MPP.
Doctor him.
Ewo Bronga Hafu. To the EC.
Atwahene na aka no.
Yes.
Atwahene.
To the EC.
Apiahene, sorry.
Apiahene. To the EC. Yeah. He was the one who represented the MPP in the strong room. Yeah. Regional level. Bronga Hafu. Oh yeah, MPP.
No, go to you soon radio, so be him.
To act as here. He was appointed.
Yeah.
Bako Kapene MPP.
Also appointed justice because the High Court to say
before the
non MPP person on former parliamentary.
Yes. Justice Gau.
Justice Gau.
Parliamentary candidate for whole central.
Omo defense. No say is he not a Ghanaian?
Yes.
Yes. Omo ye Ghanaians.
We don't expose Ghanaians.
And Brandon said, we at any given time, no, the judiciary is supposed to be what independent.
Okay. Yes, sir. Yeah, fancy.
With that said,
I think so. The Akko school. I kept quiet listening to you because, I mean, it's interesting listening to you, you know. And I'm not surprised. I said, yeah, Akuffo Addo the inside form ceremony. Obi maybe say moot court to say what.
Any about justice, any about chief justice. No, not tell me civil proceeding.
Oh, sir.
Yes.
Now, Maunyo Freddy Agbonezevi also since 1869. There have been 9 justices, including 1 chief justice in
the court and the lower court.
The lower court. Okay.
So the superior court is made up of 1, the Supreme Court at the top, followed by the Court of Appeal, then the High Court, then Regional Tribunal.
Okay.
But we have refused appointing people to the Regional Tribunal, so it is suspended.
But Judge, I hold no crown. Who explain the Kaimami? Because it's in the constitution.
Yes.
Regional tribunals are mentioned.
Yes.
In Tebani saying you try a dear constitution.
It is
amend the constitution.
No, it's spent. We have some laws which are spent.
Spent in
we have Article 299. Article 299, that's the last article. It talks about a concessional indemnities. More organizing people. If we are, that law is there, but it is what? It is spent.
Sana constitution can.
Yes.
because yes ade eguso constitution mu de
yes it is say indemnity no yeah they bo omo mu ye cool ni won buy so that they will not come again so they can yes be omo nyina ewu
akabi
omo ye
bi o minimum share
we are talking about
say wo America
last we
but who's there because of that the law is spent
because you see you ask your question I'm sure say
it's up to the Chief Justice to appoint people to those courts and since 92 they have not been appointed. And for that matter,
no, maybe common sense presentation. We can say it's a reasonable. Also, the reasonable man.
Yeah, reasonable man test.
Maybe reasonable man test. And say,
yeah,
Ghana man running in the DH.
Yes,
Chief Justice been trouble being cast be a test. So it's a test. It's spent. Maybe the answer may file book on him.
Yes,
it's identity more amending a moon in free.
Maybe perform with the cost
and ordinary people. And we were having problems with the ordinary people who were on their bench.
Okay, maybe next time.
So then where lies the district courts and those ones?
They are in the lower court.
They are in the
so
lower
if you go to the lower court, we have the circuit court, district court, and the juvenile court.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
We don't have anything like magistrate court. The one who presides. No, the one who presides is the magistrate.
Oh, sir.
So the court is called district court.
But you need magistrate court.
No, you need magistrate.
Oh, okay. So the court is the district court presided over by a magistrate,
which is addressed as my worship.
Okay. I'm the my worship.
My worship.
Yeah, my lord.
Circuit court is a judge addressed as my honor.
Oh, okay.
Then high court is a judge addressed my lord or my lady. Then the same thing to the Supreme Court.
Okay.
So we don't have anything like magistrate court. No. See, some of the registration can be a mistake. We're not court so much. No, the magistrate do not have a court. The court is called a district court.
District court.
Presided over by a magistrate.
Which is the lower court.
Yes, which is part of the lower.
Then we have the
circuit court. Then the juvenile court.
Okay.
Yeah. Thanks for the
elections. Into political parties, there the omo ya and some beba boom. No ma frefra man for na omo winning political power. Now one of the major features of political parties that they are supposed to have leaders. Into MPP for a leader about me and on listen a running mate in a Machu Upoku Prempe. Upoku Prempe Abbey. Ni I say ye say ye beshe ubia anani pakwa or ye day or ye.
Okay.
Is he fine for the seat? I know to that come. I mean, can't send me a papa we wakeka actually. Here at the beginning of free SHS. Now you're complaining say most of the schools they were not having toilet facilities because the population have increased.
Wait, what about 2 minutes per time or so?
What is the okay? The okay and they say in enko toilet ningu rubber munamuntungu sebi.
Or some cry they my lucky some more rubber no.
Or some call good toilet rubber munamuntungu. I know to that the same person no. Time no be energy minister. Do so about baby you besides all my timetable. See, I can see prepare a timetable near Fambra. Yeah. Such an arrogant person. And not to that, the same person we and no promises say teacher allowance and then national allowance obey to ya bepemene. You so okay, by me I call the tone.
What's that for 2 months?
Yes, Obi FA Ebisai. Omukutia 2 months. These are the people that we are talking about. Papa we ya na time na Jane a minister of education or abolish a shift system even at the basic school primary GHS or nobody will be introduced shift system
now this year man
it be this year man
yes
so you can say you to about ama papa we ya oni be papa bia or the be offer the people of Ghana na otomana say ba me see entomano na obobe E11 say your vice president so bet me year only E11
all right
nana appeal back up and person here.
Wait 1 second.
And now we do modern a year juma Madame Lodina Vono. Yem pair 1 day. Ne yem fa any juma or Professor Jane Nana Opoku Ajima.
Yeah, you be.
My yebi.
Jane, you bet me next week.
That'll be very fantastic.
Next week.
That'll be very fantastic.
Next week, watch out.
When you say my way, the name DNA or one on doctorate degree and you're baku exactly 4
exactly see yeah better next
apart from education the impact impact on society. A juma or ye.
Okay.
Maybe or you do